Tonight, this picture is igniting a political firestorm. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is now back in the U.S. after that surprise half-hour meeting at a hotel with Kilmore Abrego Garcia, the migrant the Trump administration initially said was mistakenly deported last month to a notorious prison in El Salvador.
This case is not just about one man. It's about protecting the constitutional rights of everybody who resides in the United States of America.
But El Salvador's president is mocking the meeting, writing sarcastically that Abrego Garcia has miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with a Democratic lawmaker. Van Hollen says those drinks were planted by Salvadorian government officials and that Abrego Garcia was moved out of the prison to another facility days ago.
He's experienced trauma. He said he's sad every day.
Despite a Supreme Court order to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S., it's an immigration fight the White House is relishing, stressing today that Abrego Garcia is not coming back. President Trump calling Van Hollen a grandstander.
He's a fake. That prisoner's record is unbelievably bad.
Even though he has no criminal convictions, the White House, citing local police reports, says Abrego Garcia was a member of the violent MS-13 gang, which his family denies. Today, the Department of Homeland Security released new details about a traffic stop involving Abrego Garcia in 2022. The report says he was pulled over for speeding while driving 8 people from Texas to Maryland for construction work. According to the report, the responding officer suspected it was human trafficking because there was no luggage in the vehicle.
Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. You heard that. It said that he got pulled over with 8 people in the car going to Maryland from Texas. Well, that's a hell of a job site. Then his wife said, oh, he was known to drive people to different job sites. I've worked construction. I've done things where you have a job site. Job site could be in another town, could be across town. But from Texas to Maryland? And I thought he was a Maryland man through and through. What do they call, what's the University of Maryland? The Turpins or some shit? I thought he was all about Maryland. He's a Maryland boy. He's a Maryland dad. Hi, I'm a Maryland dad. So why is he going back and forth to Texas if he's such an all-American? And one of the things that he's been alleged to have done is human trafficking. 8 people going to a job site with no suitcases, and they let him go. Driving without a license or driving on a suspended license, they let him go with a warning. Where's your luggage? Where are your tools? You're going to a construction site. You're not just going to show up and like, hey, you guys just bring your bodies. We'll have everything for you. We'll have the tools, the equipment, everything you need. Matter of fact, just show up naked and we will give you everything you need to do this job. Where was their luggage? Where were their clothes? Texas to Maryland? That's a long drive. Nobody stopped. Nobody need to sleep, take a shit, nothing. Just going to a different job site. Oh, where's the job site? Across town? Nope, Maryland. That's a bunch of bullshit. This guy's everything that we know he is. And you got Senator Punk ass there, Senator Pinko commie piece of shit, going down to El Salvador to meet with this dude at a damn Holiday Inn. I think it was at a Sheraton. You meeting having water with little maraschino cherries on top with this fucking criminal. And he said, oh, I'm just going to protect the constitutional rights of everybody in the United States of America. Look at him surrounded by a bunch of dumbass women. A bunch of dumbass, overly sensitive women. Of course, they're going to clap. Yeah, that's right. That's mean. That's mean that you sent him back to El Salvador. That's so mean. Yeah, I mean, but that was in the past. He punched his wife in her face. Then he swole up the side of her face and gave her a black eye and bruises. But he's not like that anymore. He said that he changed. Bring him back. We can change him. He's a bad boy. He's a gangster. Yeah, I got some broken ribs, but he's a gangster. He's such a bad boy. You went down there to visit Harold and Kilmar Garcia in El Salvador, and you are the senator of Maryland. Maryland, El Salvador, kind of far away. I think it's around 1,300 miles or something. I don't know. Maybe they changed his jurisdiction. Maybe they moved the lines of his district when they moved it all the way to El Salvador, and that's where he's supposed to be. It's where his constituents are. And then they say that dude was dead. Didn't they say that? Didn't they say that this guy was dead? That was the rumor. He's probably bet he's not even alive. He's not even alive. He's dead. He's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good for a dead guy. And before we get into some statistics, because I'm just wondering why a senator from Maryland would be in El Salvador. Well, if he's going overseas, if he's going to a different country, then his own area, his own state must be fine. There must not be anything going on in Maryland. Hey guys, my work here is done. I'm gonna go down here to El Salvador, see if I can bring back an illegal. Check this out. And be sure to hit the link in the description box to get those American hands on some official green gear. So true. So true. Now look at this. Baltimore. Nope, I definitely want to see a map of that. Okay, so here we go. An overview of crime rates in Baltimore, Maryland. There's that name Maryland again. This guy, Senator Chris Van Holland, is a senator for the state of Maryland. Baltimore is in Maryland. So it says, when we analyze the latest crime report, the Baltimore crime rate is 107.8% higher than the national average. Violent crimes include assault, robbery, rape, and murder. Classified into, robbery, rape, and murder. Whereas property crimes encompass theft, vehicle theft, and burglary. In the case of Baltimore, in the state of Maryland, there were 8,861 reported violent crimes, equivalent to 1,553 per 100,000 individuals, or 320% higher than the national average. Additionally, Baltimore recorded 18,699 property crimes, amounting to 3,277 per 100,000. Residents, 67.7% higher than the U.S. average. What does that mean? Your chance of being a victim of a violent crime in Baltimore, in the state of Maryland, is 1 in 65. Shit. 1 in 65. Well, what are my chances of being the victim of a vehicle crime? Well, the chance of any vehicle being stolen is 1 in 167. Thanks, Baltimore. 3,426 vehicle thefts last year in Baltimore. That's 10 a day. Oh, before I go, check this out. Murders, you got rapes, robberies, assault, violent crimes, almost 9,000 of those. Property crime, over 24,000 of those. Vehicle theft, over 10,000. Regular theft, over 11,000. Burglaries, 2,500. And the cherry on top, my good man, is that Baltimore is now the #1 most dangerous city in America. It's the deadliest city in America. You have a 1 in 67 or 1 in 65 chance of being the victim of a violent crime in Baltimore, which is in the state of Maryland. But a senator from your state said, fuck all that. They're just Negroes. And he went down to El Salvador to retrieve somebody who shouldn't be here in the first place. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it until it changes. Miss me with that constitutional protection shit. If you are not a legal citizen of America, you should not be protected by the Constitution. You are not one of us. Therefore, you're not afforded our protection. Just because you're here does not mean the great Constitution, the greatest document for a country ever written, and you think your mere presence entitles you to its benefits? So the next time I go in a bank, the fact that I'm standing in the bank means I have access to all of the accounts. Give me money. Give me money. I'm there. Why am I not entitled to it? The mere fact that I'm standing in the bank means that I am entitled to the benefits of it, meaning the cash. Fellas, next time you're standing next to a woman and she's with her man, who cares? Grab her titty. Why not? I'm standing here next to her, therefore I have the benefits of her. Go ahead, fellas, tune in to Tokyo. You're standing there, therefore you're afforded the benefits. You see how stupid that sounds? And we know you're here illegally. There's no question. We know you're here illegally. You're 5 feet tall and you talk like that. You weren't born here. You don't have the right paperwork. But you get to have all the protections of our Constitution? That is dumb. I don't like that. That doesn't make any sense. What a piece of shit. Maryland, I know you got it bad. But if you guys don't vote this piece of shit, you got the deadliest city in the country in your state, and he's down there in El Salvador. Why? I'm going to do a standalone video on this topic right here. So I don't want to talk too much about it. I'm just going to throw it out there. Why does the left never get it right? Why do they always get behind a piece of shit? Why do they always get behind a criminalistic turd? And these fools, these politicians are doing backflips, bending over backwards for these savages that shouldn't even be here, right in your face. Leave me in the comments. Talk to me, Goose. What do you think of this? What do you think of a U.S. senator going down to visit an illegal in El Salvador? I don't get it. It makes no sense. But you know how it goes. Try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.